David, could you tell us what a development like this could do for Chepstow?
Well, obviously this is a development that's worth a lot of money for the area. It's estimated to be between 35 and 40 million pounds. It's 169 units that will accommodate up to 400 people. Now, from my point of view, I know that whenever houses are built in Monmouthshire, there is usually a lot of controversy around it. Whenever it's decided to put extra development into Monmouth, Abergavenny, Chepstow or Usk, there are usually problems. But this is a brownfield development. We have, as a local authority, the local authority have to build 400 houses every single year. We are getting accommodation for 400 people onto a brownfield site, very environmentally friendly. It's going to do a huge amount for the riverfront in Chepstow, and it's going to attract lots of people into the town.
Tell us what you think is key to helping towns such as Chepstow thrive in the future.
Well, I started my speech earlier on by saying, what did the Romans ever do for us? And the Romans actually did a lot for us in terms of town planning and vision for communities. And I think that this sort of development shows that vision for a community and that sense of good town planning and good planning of urban space, being sympathetic to the environment, is what we see reflected in the scheme here today. But it's also very important that we get our construction industry going again in this country after the economic conditions we've been facing, and so I'm very pleased to see a project like this, which is going to bring jobs into the area, which is going to help the construction industry move forward, but is also going to leave us with a legacy of a well-built environment in which people can enjoy and live and bring up their families.
I think it's a difficult thing to say on its own. You can't just slap something in and it all puts everything right. I think it's about trying to breed a whole culture into the community. So showing people that, it's worth investing here. It's worth investing here because the whole community wants to see things change. That you've got this social capital here, you've got high quality schools, you've got fantastic young people, you've got authorities who want to work with you to stimulate economic growth. There's a whole gambit of components which I think go to make a town like Chepstow or a town like Monmouth or a town like Abergavenny to really sort of add some value to the county.
I mean, I think in the modern world, towns need to do a number of things. Obviously, there's a dormitory element, and people need to be able to live there, shop there, and go out and socialise in the town. I think Chepstow already covers a lot of those bases. I think there is a need for some better quality restaurants in Chepstow. I think that will happen. So Chepstow's good at that. In terms of jobs, yes, we can have jobs locally in terms of people like Maybridge who are right on the doorstep of the town. But equally, people need to be able to travel. I travel into London quite often on business. I travel to Cardiff. We've got a good rail network from Chepstow. We've got a good rail network from Bristol as well. I think Chepstow ticks an awful lot of boxes.
And lastly, you were saying when you talked downstairs about how you're familiar with Monmouthshire. Would you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, well, I was born and brought up in Llandaff in Cardiff, but my uncle and my cousins farm just down the road in Monmouthshire near Usk. So I spent many happy hours as a childhood around Monmouthshire, and of course it is for me a wonderful place and a place of childhood memories which are very dear to me.
Could you tell me what a development like Severn Quay could do for Chepstow?
Well, we talk about the regeneration of the lower end of Chepstow, but in fact we're leading the way for the regeneration of the whole of Chepstow. Besides our development, which is a £40–50 million gross development value, Fairfield Maybe have invested 30–40 million down at Newhouse Farm. Osborne's have invested another 10 million. We're talking about £100 million worth of investment in a town the size of Chepstow, which is huge. And along with it, we're talking about hundreds of jobs that are coming through. Now, none of this could have been done without the support of the Monmouthshire County Council, who have been very supportive in all our planning processes. And indeed, we're lucky to have the support of the government in the shape of Cheryl Gillan, the Secretary of State for Wales, is here today. And they're here because they recognise this is a good news story amongst some very bad news stories that go out. This is one where jobs are being created and where investment in the future of this county. Well, Monmouthshire itself is an absolutely beautiful county. It's got everything that one could possibly wanted it. You've got the Wye Valley, you've got the Usk Valley, you've got the Forest of Dean. They're tremendous tourist locations. But in addition to that, the connections to Bristol and Cardiff are unique. 20 minutes to Bristol Parkway Station, you can be in London in an hour and 20 minutes. I can be at Heathrow in an hour and a half. Cribs Causey, which has the biggest John Lewis partnership opening in the country, is 20 minutes away. So all in all, it's very easy for people to travel here and yet live in this beautiful countryside. In terms of, it offers great investment values. The quality of the build that we're putting on here is comparable with anything that you will see in London or anywhere else in the country. And from investment purposes, the pounds per square foot that you're talking here is something like £350 a square foot for the quality of a 800 square foot two-bedroom apartment. Comparative values in Bristol and Cardiff are £450, £500 a square foot, and in London, as you know, it's £1,800 a square foot. So we're getting investors, not just local people, but investors from everywhere and from abroad. There's a lack of actually quality new build around in this area, and again, people are looking to move from other areas where the towns are getting more and more crowded. And the quality that we put into these has been one of the important selling points of it, hence why we created this show flat in the location here, so people can actually touch and feel, see the quality of the fittings that are going throughout it. It's got amazing views over the river here, but each of the individual things which we put in there reek of quality. We put in the latest home communication unit throughout. The technology is there, so the iPad, you come in with your iPhone and the music will play in whichever room you want to set it into. If necessary, you can build it up and you can put your oven on from your office if you want to, because all these things are changing very quickly over the next couple of years. We wanted to add every possible comfort we could to all of the apartments. The latest finishes are used throughout them. Automatic curtains, everything you can think of. We've taken the latest technology and added it everywhere. We've got award-winning architects. We've gone into enormous detail. They've been very patient with us because we've demanded a lot of changes in order to add the latest pieces that we can to it. And it's already won awards for the design.